Now, one other myth while we're at it. Sometimes people say, well, okay, part of the problem is the people that get in early make all the money and the people that come late don't make any. In a properly designed network marketing compensation plan, it doesn't matter whether you come in early or you come in later. If the compensation plan allows for it, you should be able to make a lot more money, even though there's hundreds of people above you in the compensation plan. Let me just show you how this works, all right? Let's say this is you up here. You're the very first person in a network marketing company, and you sponsor, this is you, and you sponsor 3 people. And maybe between those 3 people, they sponsor somehow 12 people. So this is an unlimited width unilevel plan. That's a total of 16 people. Are you going to make a little money? Hey, a little bit of money. That's not a very big organization. What happens next? Maybe somebody you sponsor that's on your second level, one of these 3 people that was here, maybe they go out and sponsor 5 people. That's their first level, but it's your second. And then those 5 maybe sponsor 7, and one person of those 7 goes out there and sponsors 30, or maybe between 2 people in the 7. Doesn't matter, but they sponsor 30. Well, that person now has 42 people in their organization working, probably consuming some of the product too. There's a very good chance this person's going to make more money than you with your 16 people. Does that make sense? Sure. Now, it could be that one of the people in this 16 is a very high producer and generates lots of volume. You still might make more money. But probably with more people, you're going to make more money. Not always the case. You just have to look at how much volume of sales is taking place, because that's what people get paid on in a legal network marketing company. Now, let's say this person here on your third level, okay, they sponsor 4 people, and those people sponsor 20, and then 88, and 401, and 755. It gets bigger, and then it starts tailing off. It usually does, right? But every network marketing company only pays down a certain number of levels. All right. In this case, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels. That's kind of par. Most companies can't pay deeper than that because they'd go out of business. So in this case, right, the biggest number of people is on the 6th generation. That's typical too in network marketing companies. But how many people in this person's organization? Well, 1,353. Is this person probably going to be making more money? Probably so, right? They're going to be making more money for sure than either you or the person that you sponsored that was on this generation. Is that good? Absolutely. Is that fair? Sure. They came in later. They're making more money, but they built a larger sales organization. They deserve more money. Now, someone comes in below them and says, well, this person above me is making so much more money than I am. But look, they only built a sales organization of 6 people. So it really doesn't matter where you are. What it matters is how big of a sales team that you build. Now, there's an argument that some say, well, you reach saturation. I have never seen a network marketing company reach saturation. If you just look at typical manufacturing companies like Johnson & Johnson, for example, they grow every single year worldwide, and they've been in business for decades and decades and decades. They're doing 70 billion in sales per year, and they keep growing. No network marketing companies come close to that big. No network marketing company, in my opinion, has ever saturated the market. So there's a third myth we'll dispel for you. So even another person comes in down here, 12 people, they might look at this person and say, well, they got in earlier than me. Not so. This person here just built a larger organization. All right, so there's one myth. Doesn't matter in a properly designed network marketing company. It doesn't matter when you come in. It matters how big a sales organization you build, and ultimately how much volume they're producing. A smaller sales organization might be more efficient and actually be producing more volume than this one. But I'm just using the numbers to illustrate this for you. All right, so let's go back to this idea of pricing and value. Let's look at an illegal pyramid. From a new participant's point of view, okay, they're paying this kind of price for a product. I like to use the example of pencils. Pencils are a product. Again, I'm going to back up one step. Sometimes say, well, if there's no product, it's an illegal pyramid. If there's a product, it's legal. Well, let's talk about the gray areas now. Look at that. What if it's pencils for $10 each? Well, clearly pencils don't cost $10 each. But that's a product, and you could start a network marketing company around that. But the price, from the new participant's viewpoint, the value they're getting is nowhere near as high as the price. In a legitimate business, okay, so they're saying the value is zero. And the only thing that they're receiving really is the right to bring in new participants. That's the classic definition of an illegal pyramid. When the only value that someone gets for the money they pay is the right to bring in new participants. Oh yeah, the pencil's worth, a nickel, but you paid $10 or $100. You see, it's just ridiculous. And many companies that are illegal pyramids are trying to pretend like they're legal network marketing companies when they're not. And it's sort of let the buyer beware. If you think the government's going to catch all those, you're wrong. And just because they're in business and have been even sometimes for years doesn't mean that they're not going to get caught sometime. All right, let's look at a legitimate business now. All right, so you pay a certain price. What's the product worth from the new participant's viewpoint? Well, it's worth at least as much as the price they're paying. At least as much. Possibly, and ideally, they believe it's worth a little bit more than what they're paying. That's what fuels transactions. Whenever a person says, I'd rather have your product than my money, I think I'm getting more value than what I'm paying, that's what fuels transactions in a free enterprise system. So that's the ideal thing for a legitimate business, is for the customers to believe they're always getting value. Let's have the test a little bit, okay? Legitimate or a pyramid scheme, all right? From the new participant's part of view, the value is here. Legitimate or a pyramid? Clearly, that's legitimate, right? Very, very simple. What if the value is here? Well, probably an illegal pyramid at risk of being closed down by the authorities sooner or later, right? Because the value is so small compared to the price. What if, though, the value is here? Same thing. What if it's here? See, now it's getting tougher. Now it's getting tougher. See, that's where we're getting into the gray areas, because value is a very subjective thing. Some people think that Mercedes-Benz are a ripoff, that the price is way too high when you can buy a Chevy for, a quarter of the price. Why buy a Mercedes-Benz? But that's subjective, because a whole lot of people are happy to buy Mercedes-Benz. So let me just say that this is a very subjective thing, but you need to think about it when you're joining a network marketing company. And we're going to talk a little more about that in just a minute. So can we quantify this a little better? Let's look at the price. Let's say that's the value that most people would agree is being delivered for the price. Then what would you call this section right here, the difference between the price and the value? Well, here's an interesting phrase or an interesting name. And if you name this, you can kind of quantify it. It'll clarify your thinking. If the $10 pencils, you say, well, look, I'm paying $10. I think the pencil at most, what's a really good pencil, at worth its most a quarter. Then this area here, you see, you'd say is $9.75. We're going to call that the pyramid portion of the price. If the pyramid portion of the price is very, very small or non-existent, you probably have a good argument that our critical success factor number 7 is being met in that particular network marketing company. It's a competitive price. 2 requirements, remember, that we said for reliable long-term leveraged residual income. One is that there's a lot of people doing a little bit consistently. That can give you leverage. You can't have leverage unless you get a lot of people doing some work. You need a lot of people receiving value consistently. That's what's going to give you the residual income, when people come back and buy again and again and again, right? So those are the requirements that we've talked about in MLM The Whole Truth, the course and special report. Now let's just talk about what's good business. Well, competitive pricing is critical for both. What do marketing vice presidents do? Well, they study the market and they see where the competition's coming in. I did that with one product, okay, a joint health product with glucosamine in it some years back. And here's what I found. I found Costco had a product that was somewhere down here under $5. Another one in the $6-7 range. I don't know what the difference is. Probably some difference in quality. I saw one good MLM. I thought a pretty good MLM that had a product just under $11. I saw GNC store had a product up there around $18. CVS one at $21. One MLM with a product at $28 and another one at $38, $39. Now, you know, what makes sense? Where are you going to find the most number of buyers? If you want a lot of people doing a little bit, if you want to power your distributors that generally aren't great salespeople to do a lot of business, where do you want to price your product? Wouldn't it be down towards the lower end? Well, here's where the market share numbers come in. Between $0 and $10, 65% of the joint health products are sold or priced in that range. 65%. Another 25% are sold between $10 and $20. So between, you know, $5 and $20, you've got 90% of the products that are being sold. So this one at $21, okay, 9% of the market's there. One MLM company's pushing that range. Another one is out there trying to sell their product to 1%. I'll bet if you looked at that MLM's number of real customers outside of the comp plan, you'd find next to none. Next to none. Because you're not going to be able to sell very many products when you're working in a 1% market. Far better to be down here somewhere in your marketing if you want to have a good business. Doesn't that make sense? Just basic common sense. I'm putting some numbers on it. Nothing fancy here. For critical success factor number 7, competitive pricing to be in place when you're evaluating a network marketing business, you must look realistically at the value of the products. I'm making that pretty clear, aren't I? Okay. What is the value? If it's here, forget it. All right. Don't join. Don't get started. I don't care how tempting they say the business is. I don't care how great they say their comp plan is. Stay away from it. It doesn't have sound fundamentals. You're not going to feel good about it even if you have a measure of success. If it's here, well, you know, you be the judge. If the value's here, you know, you have to make that decision. If it's here, obviously you're doing a lot better. But you've got to evaluate it. Be realistic. Don't be blinded by hype. I've seen that so many times. People say, oh yeah, we've got customers. In reality, all they have is, you know, sometimes they're their own customers. They're selling to their dog, their next door neighbor as a favor. There's no real customers. Don't get blinded by the hype. Don't fool yourself. That's the most important person for you to tell the truth to is yourself. Okay, there's only one person to be heard if you don't, you. My advice, ask a few family members, friends that have no vested interest in the business. What do you think of this product at this price? They may or may not want the product, but you know what? They can tell you whether they think it sounds like a fair deal or not, and you can determine that way. Ask for advice. Critical success factor number 7, competitive pricing. Clearly one of the most important of the success factors. They're all critical. I mean, if you're missing any one of the 12, the company can fail. So please look at those things before you get involved, before you spend a lot of time, effort, and or money, or waste your reputation, or burn out your friends and family because you've made bad decisions. This is probably one of the first things I ask. I ask people, what's your product? How's it priced? Who's buying it? And I try to find out, are people really going to be buying this, whether they're interested in the comp plan or not, whether they're interested in the business or not. The pricing is so critical, it can even affect the legality of the company and the model. It profoundly affects critical success factors that deal with reorder rate and attrition. It can make or break your quest for reliable, long-term, leverage residual income, and I contend it's worth it looking for that. It's worth it building for that. That's the most valuable kind of income that you own. Well, thank you so much for attending. If you found this presentation in some other way than by direction from the book, learn more about the special report we offer at MLMthewholetruth.com. It's MLM- or hyphen thewholetruth.com. Our goal is to empower network marketers with the whole truth always. Network marketing is a beautiful business model that makes absolute sense when it's done well. Thank you, my friends. Glad you could join me here today. Bye-bye.